All right, gentlemen. Since Michael's not here, it's my job. Welcome. Nick, what have you been up to?
Man, it's been a whirlwind. So there's been sickness that has taken over within our house 2 weeks ago, and then my babysitter was sick all this past week. So we had 10 straight days that we had to try and figure out something with childcare, and it was wild. You realize that, if you've got kids and there are 10 days that you can't send them to the babysitter, you kind of run through the depth chart of your
can watch 'em?
backups.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we had, my dad had him for a couple days. My mother-in-law had him for a couple days. I took off a couple days. Tori was off for, I don't know, a day and a half, 2 days, something like that. Yeah. And you just run out after a little while. We had to find somebody from church to watch. So it was, an adventure, to put it in a nice way, but it was not very fun if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah,
So
that was understandable.
It was tough.
Yeah.
But other than that, that was, made it through. We're almost at Thanksgiving, so I'm just looking forward to, only got to work tomorrow and then got some days off. So
Nice.
that'll be nice.
Yeah.
What about you, man? How you been?
Honestly, same. Sickness just between me and some other people that I'm close with. So just, a lot of that, just dealing with it. Like I had to lead worship this week at church, and I almost didn't have a voice on Sunday morning. So
wow.
that was an interesting time, but we made it through.
That's good.
Yeah. That's really been about it.
Yeah. Well,
Nothing
we
real
would
exciting.
ask Michael what he's up to, but he's on dad duty tonight, so we're definitely sad not to have him with us. But we are excited to have a guest talking today about something very special to him, Stargate. Please welcome James to the podcast.
Thank
I know Michael doesn't have it. See, this
There
is
we go.
Hey,
Yeah, there
I'm
we
not
go.
quick enough on the
well
show.
done. It's all good.
It's all good. There's always an applause in my mind.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Nick, what did you know about Stargate?
Not much. Let's jump in though. We'll jump in with the title music, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit. There it is. There's always a little pause before the intro music. Hello and welcome to Fandom of Fandoms, the show where every single episode we dive into worlds that fans and just people love the most. Today we're going to be talking about Stargate with James, and we are just so excited to have him with us. And I'll go back to Ben's original question. What do I know about Stargate? The answer, not much. So I talked to James beforehand to kind of get a feel for, where should I start out? And I'm sure he's going to talk about this later, but we did. So my understanding is the movie started it all. So that was kind of where you told us to kind of go and check that out. So I did go and check out the movie, and I'll save my thoughts for later, but I mean, it was good. Like, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Good.
I really like James Spader a lot. Like,
James
that was,
Spader,
he was phenomenal. But
I was not expecting that when he came on screen. Yeah,
Yeah.
and in a very interesting role. I mean,
Yes.
I guess I've only seen James Spader in a few things, but that was an interesting role that I wasn't expecting. But yeah, same for me. I didn't know much about it. I assumed it was kind of I won't say a Star Trek ripoff, but in that genre of like space themed adventures, which I like, and I've seen plenty of Star Trek, but I just had never had time for that, and so I didn't know much about it, and so watched the movie like you recommended, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Very very typical campy 90s adventure,
Oh,
but
yeah.
in the best
sure.
way possible. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And I think the most surprising thing for me was the soundtrack. Like, I was really like, it was a good soundtrack. I didn't know
I didn't
the
think
composer,
about that, but you're right.
but
it was.
it was good. So yeah.
Well, I'll jump in and I'll just give a brief overview of just everything. So anybody that's a complete noob, I actually remembered this time to get a brief overview that I could read out on the podcast. So here that is for you. Stargate is a long-running sci-fi franchise that began with the 1994 film and expanded into multiple TV series, including SG-1, Atlantis, and Universe. The central concept revolves around Stargate, an ancient device capable of creating wormholes and allowing teams to travel instantly to other planets. Across its shows, the franchise blends military adventure, alien cultures, mythology-inspired storylines, and long-form character development. So,
nice.
a lot of stuff in there, and there was even longer. I gotta find the sweet spot of like what's the right amount of information
I think
to
that was
give
good.
an overview.
No, I think that was good.
Yeah. I mean, that pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Podcast over.
Yeah, that's the end.
Just kidding.
No, James. So what got you interested in Stargate?
So I have always been really interested in mythology, and I don't know if you ever something that really got it going for me was the wonderful 1999 film starring Brendan Fraser called The Mummy.
Yes,
classic. The whole that got me into Egyptology and mythology and things like that. So I think that's how I latched onto the show was their initial take of what the pyramids were.
Yeah.
Which were landing pads for alien spaceships. So I thought that was
pretty
really
interesting.
cool.
Yep.
I couldn't get that meme out of my head the entire time. You know, the guy with the crazy hair. Just aliens.
Yeah, that guy.
That was all I was thinking when I was like, did they make that off of this show?
That's basically Daniel Jackson. So, yeah. But yeah.
Tangent, did you guys see they're doing a Mummy 4 with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz?
Oh,
I
really?
did.
Yes.
No, I didn't very excited about that. A lot of great things are happening. I think this is perfect timing for me to be on the podcast talking about this because as of late last week, they announced that they are revitalizing Stargate and doing a new series.
Okay.
I did hear that.
Is it Amazon owns them, right?
Yes, Amazon owns them. When they bought MGM, they bought the rights to Stargate. It's been a long time coming. It's been like 14 years since the last Stargate show was on air.
Oh, wow.
And now they're doing a continuation.
Nice.
So
I saw like when I was researching a little bit, I saw that like the main writer was like, it's inevitable that something will happen. So glad to hear that they actually announced it. Nice.
Very excited.
Awesome. So so Egyptology kind of like got you into it. What kept you like latched on?
Honestly, it was the pacing of the show, the drama behind it, and each episode it was like, oh no, how are they going to almost die this time? And it just like their continued take on different mythologies and different pantheons, and like there are different gods that they reference, and it's just their sci-fi blend with the mythology, like what their take of those are. I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm rambling.
No,
but
you're good. No.
But yeah,
so it doesn't
that's
always
all podcasts are rambling. So
sweet, cool,
long form.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always stay with just like the Egypt, like those ancient Egypt mythologies. It gets into other stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So as the series goes on, so it is pretty heavy in Egyptology at the beginning, with the Goa'uld. If you watch the movie, so like it starts off with Ra. He is like the system lord. Over all of the Goa'uld. And
every time it's all right.
Everybody hits this thing.
Yes.
But he is the system lord. So like when they take him out in the movie, spoiler alert, sorry, it's been out since 1994, so whatever. By the way, 1994 was a great year for movies.
Yes,
so
it was.
That's probably why it got overshadowed. But when they take out Ra in the movie, it's basically like taking out the top of the system.
The pyramid? No.
Yeah, the top of the pyramid. Exactly. So that's where the rest of the Goa'uld, like the other system lords beneath him, try to fight for power. And that's when Apophis comes to Earth. And that's when the show starts. It starts with the Stargate sitting there. In the pilot episode, it's just sitting there. There's just a group of Air Force. I forget what they're called. Like, are they airmen? Airmen, right?
Sure. Yeah.
We'll go with it. That sounds right.
But the Air Force is overseeing the Stargate program. They're just sitting there, just playing cards and stuff, guarding this giant wheel, and it hasn't been active in years. And it opens with the activation of the Stargate, Apophis coming in and taking a couple of the people who were watching the gate. So Apophis knew back when Ra first came to Earth and 5,000 years ago, it knew like this was the planet that populates the entire galaxy, essentially. So each system lord takes their own group of people, becomes the god of those people, and takes them off to another planet.
Interesting.
To basically be their slaves.
So essentially there are humans all over the universe.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Wasn't that was the basis though of the movie too?
Well,
right?
yeah. But I wasn't sure if like, so it sounds like all these other gods or ultimately powerful beings are doing the same thing and getting humans specifically.
Because those were actual, like, I think that was what came up in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Those were humans that were on the...
That's why it was okay for James Spader to romance the girl.
Yes,
exactly. Yes. She's just basically a descendant of ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
So
She is human.
Yes, she is human. Yes.
Well, there's many of those other sci-fi shows where they're human-like creatures and they look everything like a human, but they're not human.
They're not exactly. But no, the galaxy is populated by humans, and the human race has made it throughout all of the Milky Way, and even into some other galaxies, as you'll find out in some of the other spinoffs.
So, like, is the main mission always like just discovery on where the other portals go, or is it like rescue for those people, or what's like usually the main mission for the teams to go through?
So the main mission, and I'm using air quotes if you're listening in, is to find and bring back technology for the United States to use to defend itself against whatever's out there.
Okay.
So that is their main mission.
Gotcha.
But with people like Daniel Jackson and Samantha Carter on the team, they want to do more. They want to connect human beings to one another and find out more about our history.
Okay.
Like Daniel Jackson, as an archaeologist, and he knows like 13 languages. He's studied so much history, and going to see like where there's an episode in the early season where they study what was it called? He gets captured by this beast who lives under the sea and starts asking about like ancient Babylon and things like that, because this sea monster's wife or lover got captured and stuck on Earth. So he reveals like this tablet that has like ancient cuneiform on it, and Daniel Jackson has to try to decipher that and find out what he's asking for, and it's just things like that where he's exploring ancient history and trying to remember all these things, and that's kind of what keeps him alive too.
Now, I already forgot. That's not James Spader's character, is it?
That is not James.
Okay,
it is also Jackson, though, right? Yeah.
So Daniel Jackson is portrayed by James Spader in the movie, but not in the TV show.
So same character, different actor.
Same character, different actor.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What was his story for coming back to Earth then, since he and his ancient Egyptian lover were,
So his story for coming back to Earth was basically Apophis came to Earth and stole some people from the base. Jack O'Neill got recruited to come back after being retired, and they needed Dr. Jackson to help.
That was Kurt Russell, right?
Kurt Russell in the movie. In the show,
had to change it.
Richard Dean Anderson, aka MacGyver.
Is that really?
Yeah, it's MacGyver. Yeah,
nice.
Only in the bloopers they mention like, you could MacGyver your way out of this, but I wish they would have kept that in the show.
Yeah.
But oh well. Anyway, so they reach out to Abydos to try to get Dr. Daniel Jackson to come back and help them solve this mystery. Like, where did this come from? Because at the beginning of the show, they didn't know that there were countless other planets that they could go to.
Sure.
They thought the Stargate only went to Abydos. So they're like, okay, well, maybe this guy came from Abydos, and we need to see if Dan Jackson's okay.
Yeah.
But that's where they discover that on Abydos, they had the gate address, and then they noticed there were other gate addresses, but they didn't necessarily work when they dialed it the first time. So with science, they explain it by some kind of drift. I think it's gravitational drift, or
okay. So the planets are not in the exact same locations as they were before. Okay.
Exactly. So that's when Sam Carter comes in and does some calculations in her head, because she's that much of a genius.
Of course.
And figures out, taking into account this drift, we can dial these numbers now. We can have this program set up so that way we can automatically dial these numbers, and it accounts for all this drift. So that it literally opens up the universe to them.
Yeah.
So are the characters, the ones that you mentioned, are they kind of mainstays throughout all of the different series, or do they change? Like, are there different teams for each of the different Stargate series?
So for SG-1, that's the team throughout the series. in the later seasons, because it went on for 10 seasons and the actors were starting to get a little bit older, there was a little bit of change. I think Richard Dean Anderson left. So there was a little bit of change in the main team. But for Atlantis and Universe, there are different teams, but there are some like crossover episodes where Teal'c, he's the first prime of Apophis. He's a Jaffa from that they meet in one of the first episodes when they're trying to rescue their fellow airmen. He like has some crossover episodes in Atlantis, and which is kind of fun because he gets to fight Jason Momoa in Atlantis because he was in Atlantis.
Really?
Ronan Dex.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. He was in Atlantis.
He was in
and he was
Atlantis.
Aquaman.
And he was Aquaman. He was destined for this. Yes,
Amazing.
absolutely. But yeah.
Nice.
So
Oh.
out of this brings me to I don't know if this is a question that was in here or not. So who would you say is your favorite team of people like from the show, like or favorite character, I guess?
Okay, so my favorite character is going to be Teal'c. He's so rigid, but also later on he really grows into like having a sense of humor, but it's this very dry sense of humor that it's just so funny when he tries to make a joke and it's like from a different world. He's from a different world, so the jokes don't really land or things go over his head, and like he doesn't.
And this wasn't he wasn't in the movie, so this is
He wasn't in the movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
from
He's
the
from
TV
the
show.
he's from the TV show.
Okay.
But yeah,
See, I'm trying to keep track of like which ones are like crossed over, which one came into the TV
Okay.
show, which ones didn't.
So to be straight, there was the movie,
yes,
and then SG1,
yes,
and then Atlantis and Universe.
yes.
And was there anything else that we're missing?
So there were also a couple additional movies.
Okay.
That kind of wrap up SG1.
Okay.
There was Arc of Truth and Continuum. So those are after you've watched all 10 seasons of SG1. These are two movies that kind of like round out some of the final few episodes. So because they probably could have done another season, but instead of doing another season, they just did these two movies instead.
Okay.
They were more like direct to TV movies,
Sure.
which was unfortunate, but they were still pretty good.
Okay.
I still enjoyed
Nice.
how they wrapped it up.
better or worse than the first one?
Than the first movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think of it as just like an extended episode.
Okay.
So
Nice.
the original movie, even though it was from like 1994, it had movie quality graphics and everything. Whereas the show and the movies at the end, while they were still on Showtime, they had Showtime money for it, but it wasn't like movie studio production
right.
quality. So,
And I'm sure, well, I was gonna say, and I'm sure too, like by that point, when you watch those movies, they're assuming you know everything about Stargate in general,
Exactly.
as opposed to the movie, the original movie, like is introducing the whole concept and the characters and everything. So
Right.
there's some differences there. But
as I was watching the movie, I was thinking about and maybe this is a cold take, I don't know, but I was just thinking how like the special effects, and I know you were mentioning like just the campiness of it anyways. So was it somewhat on purpose, or is it just the fact that I don't know, some movies in 1994 just didn't have as good of special effects? Because I
mean,
I don't know, to me, it didn't seem great.
it
to
wasn't
me. Am I
the best, but I mean, some of the practical stuff that they did, I think, was really good. Like some of the costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I thought they were really good. But I mean, again, for especially 90s. But yeah,
I don't know. Where do you think it lands as far as like special effects in that time of?
in that time, I think it's pretty spot on because I'm thinking of some of the other movies that came out around that time, and like there was the Godzilla movie that came out in '98, and Independence Day that came out around the same time, just a couple years later. I mean, those were actually produced by the same person,
right.
So,
I was gonna say, I think that was the one thing I saw that the composer of the original movie did. And I was like, oh, Independence Day. There you go. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, and I really enjoyed those movies. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm biased, but you know.
I don't know. Well, and that's just, I mean, that's the thing too, is that some of those, because that would have been like early CG.
Yeah.
And like, there's some questionable early CG as we know. And I mean, we're talking 1994. I guess it was several years before, the big one, The Matrix, was obviously like one of the game changers for CGI. So I don't know. It makes sense. Maybe I need to. Maybe my expectations were too high. I don't know.
Probably.
It probably was.
I mean, I was talking it up, so you're probably like, man, this has got to be the best thing ever. This is going to be like Avatar meets Avengers Endgame.
Well, you brought up a good point, though. The fact that 1994 was absolutely stacked with movies.
Oh, yeah.
I know that they talked about, it might have been in the little, that podcast episode or that video that you sent to me, whatever it was, where they talked about just like how it finished so low, even for the year. Like I don't even think it was top 5 in that year that it was released. And it still did well. Like it still made hundreds of millions of dollars.
It sure did.
And
what were some of the other movies?
Well, that would have been the year of what was that? That was
Shawshank Redemption.
Okay. Well, that didn't make any money though.
Oh,
so that was,
it was still a big movie that happened here.
That would have been I don't know. Was that the year of Lion King?
Might have been. Yeah.
I'd have to go look it up. But 1994 is Forrest Gump.
Okay.
Was 1994, I believe. I can't remember what else.
I think wasn't there a Star Trek movie that came out that year too? Yeah. And then there were a couple Jim Carrey movies. I think both The Mask and Dumb and Dumber came out in 94.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Nice.
Now you guys have got me curious. What are the actual 1994 movie releases? Because that is something. That's why we need a producer at this point to be able to.
All my devices are currently being used to record, so I can't look anything up.
Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
Was huge.
Yeah. Wow.
Man, it was just a stacked year of movies for sure. You were right. Star Trek Generations came out that year.
Right. Yeah.
There's definitely some that are missing off of this list for sure. But anyways, it was just such a big year that it did not even crack it. And I think that you're right. It could have. Like, I mean, it definitely had enough to it that I think it, to me at least, and maybe that's just because I was outside the fandom, it wasn't something that I was really aware of. I didn't know that I knew of the TV show and had heard of that, but not necessarily the movie, and knowing that it started with that. So that was interesting for me to find out.
Yeah, and I'll admit something right now. I also didn't know about the movie in 1994.
Okay.
I was 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I missed my window to see it in theaters. But I didn't really find the show and become a fan until COVID. Really.
Okay, wow.
So this was one of the shows that it was recommended when I was going through like Hulu, like your recommended things, and it was like, okay, SG1, what's this? So I did some research about it, found out there was a movie, the Fandom online, that they basically recommended like, where should I start? And so I started with the movie, loved the concept, and then I started watching the show, and I was hooked after just a couple episodes. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. Like, this is everything I'm looking for. It's
nice.
Sci-fi, mythology. It's just
the algorithm.
That algorithm got me. And, I
the computers know as well.
That's crazy. So you never watched any of it as it was airing. So you saw it all after the fact.
Wow.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive in and of itself. Like that goes to show that some of these fandoms, when they can capture some like new person into it years after there has been any kind of release about it. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned you started them with the movie. So like, would you recommend anyone else also watch the movie to begin with?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the movie is a great way to introduce somebody into the idea of what the Stargate is and how it interacts with the rest of the world, with the rest of the galaxy, I guess, and like who the Goa'uld are, and that they're these parasitic aliens that use humans as hosts, and they stay alive for thousands of years because of their sarcophagus that they get into, and it heals their body. So, I mean, it's just really cool.
Yeah, wasn't that part of what, like, they chose humans because humans heal so easily? Wasn't that like one of the main points?
Their bodies were I think that was what Ross said, right? The bodies are so easily easy to repair. So that was what it
Yes.
was. So they
Yeah.
So what do you actually get to see what those types of aliens look like at some point?
The
in show?
gold?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So they are basically like eels with 4 like sharp points coming out of their face, and they got like little fins on the side. And
Why does that sound kind of like Predator with the?
I mean, yeah, kind of think of like Predator, how its
Okay.
mouth opens
Okay.
up. It's
Yeah.
just like on a smaller scale, and it's at the end of this eel
Yeah. Okay.
or leech, I guess, or something like.
How big are they?
They're, I don't know, probably like a foot and a half
Okay.
ish. So,
Interesting.
but yeah, they burrow in and wrap around the spinal cord and
They just
dig into the brain.
Gosh.
and then they just control the.
Yeah, they control them. They control the humans.
Interesting.
The host is, you'll find out, is still alive
Yeah.
throughout all of this, which is kind of terrifying.
Yeah. So you're just alive for thousands of years with
Yeah.
this other thing controlling you, and you're forced to watch it all happen. Essentially.
Exactly.
Gosh.
Is
Yeah.
that
That's,
like
that's
part of
terrifying.
things.
Is that part of like the plots in some of these
Yes.
episodes or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Spoiler alert.
No,
Yeah.
I mean that's honestly not
It's
even
been around
you've
for
intrigued
30
me.
years.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, you got into the where to start, and this is kind of the fun question. So, if you were pitching somebody to get into the fandom, what would be your 30 seconds to a minute elevator pitch? If you wanted to make, we've been changing it to impassioned plea to get more people into the fandom. You can make it to the camera or to us. What's your elevator pitch here?
all right, which camera's mine? Is that one? That one?
This one over here.
That one,
That's
yep.
a good one.
Do you like sci-fi? Do you like ancient Egypt? Do you like mythology? I have a show for you. It's this one. Watch it. That's all.
Nice.
Short and sweet.
Easy.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it hits all the points that
Yeah.
you need. Also, if you like hour-long shows that have 20 plus episodes a season and 10 seasons, and you need something to keep you busy,
Yeah. Need a good binge.
there you go.
In case there's ever another,
No,
another
don't
COVID.
speak that into
No, stop. Just stop. Just do it just because, not because there's a global pandemic.
Oh man. Well, is there? I guess we'll keep going. Right? Do we want to break now or come?
We're about halfway. So
About halfway?
whenever, yeah.
All right. Well, let's call it right here. We'll take a quick break, then
Cool.
we'll come back and talk a little bit about fandom culture.
Sweet. Sounds
All
good.
right. And we're back, still talking with our guest James about Stargate. We're going to dive into a discussion about fandom culture here. So I'll start us off. Outside of the shows and the movies themselves, is there any content that you have enjoyed, or maybe that people in this fandom enjoy?
So there is content outside of just the shows themselves. I don't know if people necessarily enjoyed it. I mean, there are groups of
Wonderful.
people who have participated. There is a video game, a Stargate video game, as well as an animated series, Stargate Infinity. There's a reason why we haven't talked about those that much. They aren't quite as popular.
Okay.
But there is a subset of the fandom that did enjoy the video games, and the TV show and the action figures.
Ooh.
Yeah. So want to
tell
talk
us
us
about
about what you brought.
So what I brought is a cheap knockoff. Well, I wouldn't say knockoff. It's based off of the movie, not necessarily the TV show.
Okay.
I happened to see this at Big Fun downtown, and it is an Anubis Jaffa guard from. We don't meet Anubis until like late in the series.
Okay.
He wasn't one of the guys that
No,
was
it's
in the
just
show.
Raw, and
Yeah,
then
it
his
was-
guards. Like, yeah.
It was Ra and all of his guards. So
Did the guards not have different? I thought they had different heads.
they did
did.
have different heads, yes, but they
That
don't
wasn't one of
actually
them.
mention. Yeah, they don't
Okay.
actually mention like Anubis as one of the system lords or anything, because I believe at that time he was believed to be dead or banished, which find out later on. Spoiler alert again. He comes back, and he's a different form of gold in a way, but he does have his own guards.
Can I see? I'm curious
Yeah.
about the. Is there a large? So was there quite a bit of action figures and toys made from Stargate? Because I know obviously at the time there were tons of
Just
content,
merchant
merch
generals,
for sure. So was that something that was common that you're aware of, or not so much?
So
That's
there
cool.
wasn't a ton, but on the back here, it does show a few different action figures that you could collect. You got Daniel Jackson, Colonel O'Neill. There's an attack pilot, Horus, guard, Lieutenant Kowalski, Anubis.
I'll say that version of Daniel Jackson looks a lot more ripped than James Spader.
Yes.
He's like
he
a
looks
commando.
like James Spader on steroids.
He's like James Spader Rambo, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, looking at the back of these, the only two that are even kind of accurate, I mean, most of them you can't see their face because they have their helmets on, but is Daniel Jackson and Colonel O'Neill. They actually kind of look like their characters from the movie, whereas the rest don't. This picture of Lieutenant Kowalski looks nothing like French Stewart. And this picture of Skara, not so much.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, I just thought this was a very interesting piece of memorabilia that I just happened to come across at Big Fun for $4.99, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get it.
Why not? Yeah. And I saw on the front it actually was advertising the video game, so.
Oh yeah.
It says like, get the video game from Acclaim. So
Exactly. That's how you get people, right? There's people who play video games like to collect action figures and play with action figures,
Yep.
right?
just nerds in general, Nick.
Right.
I mean,
For sure, absolutely. So we got your merch, we got the games, we got the. Oh, I guess I didn't even ask. What was the premise of the animated show? Do you know?
I don't know. I have not watched it.
That was okay.
I have not been able to find it anywhere. Yeah.
oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if it's somewhere deep in Amazon Prime or
Lost to time.
yeah. I don't know who owns it or where it is, but it is one that I have not yet watched.
Okay. Well,
Gotcha.
well, let's move into some hot takes. I'm always curious. This can always be a fun part of the conversation. Is there anything that any unpopular opinions that you have about the show or the movies?
So one unpopular hot take, I guess, is Colonel O'Neill and Sam Carter probably should not have ended up together. Like they had like a will they won't they relationship going throughout the whole thing, but they couldn't date each other because he was her superior officer, and it. I've heard from other people who feel a similar way that it kind of cheapens the arc of Sam Carter overall. Like in the end, she's still falling for this guy, kind of thing. Like she could do better or somewhere else, or like they probably shouldn't have ended up together.
There's always got to be a love interest.
There's
in-
kind of a
Exactly.
forced,
Like-
romance, but yeah.
You don't need that. Like
Yeah.
the show was great without it. Like it was kind of like on the back burner through most of it. It wasn't until later seasons that it really started to get some legs and form into this. All right, so they clearly have feelings for each other, kind of thing.
Whatever happened to? So is Daniel Jackson's love interest / wife? I guess it was from the movie. Is it still a thing in the show? Does it ever come back, or is it just kinda like-
Sha'Ray? Yes. So that does come back, and she is one of the people that they are trying to save from Apophis.
Okay.
Because after Apophis comes to Earth and takes some of the airmen from the base, he then goes back to Abydos after they meet after the Stargate team goes to Abydos to try to get Daniel Jackson and find out more about the rest of the galaxy. Apophis comes and takes Sha'Ray and Skara. So that's when Daniel Jackson decides to join the team and become part of SG-1 and travel to try to save Sha'Ray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they kind of use it as that like plot point. Like you don't ever really see her very much, but like just kind of the driving force of moving the plot along. Got it.
Yeah. He even says each time I walk through that gate, I'm thinking, is this the time when I'm gonna be able to see Sha'Ray? Each time I'm trying to save my wife. And
okay. Let's see. What are we getting? So hot take. Any other hot takes that come to mind? We're gonna get into the wider discussion here in a couple minutes.
I I think Jonas Quinn was a great addition to the team. So in one of the later seasons, Daniel Jackson leaves the show for a little while. Fun fact, there was even people were so upset about him leaving the show. I think there were some creative differences. So they kind of wrote him out of the show for a little while. There was a website that started up.
Oh, man.
SaveDanielJackson.com. It's either .com or .net, but it's still
Not
active.
.org, though.
Not .org.
Oh.
No, not .org or .gov. I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being .gov. But it was still up, and people would go out there every single day and try to convince them to bring Daniel Jackson back.
Wow.
So in the meantime, there was another alien who lived, human who lived off-world, who ended up leaving he had some conflict, like the way they wrote it into the plot, like he had some conflict with his leaders of his world. So he was seeking asylum on Earth and decided to join the SG-1 team, kind of as like the fill-in for Daniel Jackson.
Sure. Okay.
I thought he was a great replacement. While I'm happy that Daniel Jackson came back, spoiler alert, he comes back season 7. While I thought Daniel Jackson was great, I'm happy he was back. Jonas Quinn was a great addition to the team.
Okay.
Did they write him off then eventually, or did he stick around?
When Daniel Jackson came back, he went back to his home world and repaired that relationship. So conveniently, they repaired their relationship.
Timing is suspicious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Okay. Well, I guess you mentioned, like, as you were getting into the show, like you like there's an online community of support around this. Obviously, they wouldn't have came back and started to possibly produce more shows related to the just Stargate in general. So obviously, you've been a little bit of a part of some of that online community. Can you talk to us about that a little bit? Or
so Gate World is like the online community. It was started in 1999. It's been around. It's still active. The show writers and the showrunners are also active on the subreddits as well. So when they announced that they were coming back, they reached out to the head of Gate World and brought him into it first and made the announcement together with them.
Wow.
So like they're really connected to the fandom and they listen to the fans. They understand like the fans are what made the show last so long and why it's still and why it's coming back is because of the fans. So
have you found I mean overall, like is the fandom kind of, I mean, I guess especially you being somebody that came on later on, like are they accepting of like newcomers, or is it kind of like one of those things?
Oh, absolutely.
Are they?
Yes.
Okay.
Very accepting. So please join us. Yes.
I love that.
Nice.
Well, let's jump into our group discussion. We'll go back and forth between Ben and I a little bit, asking some questions. Usually, we like to try and jump in on this. I know you're doing most of the talking, but I'm just enjoying like kind of learning a little more about the show. Yeah. I'll start off with a question. I'm sorry. I guess I forgot. We usually start with "Would you rather?" So
okay.
That's always fun to jump in.
Surprised that you were going to jump over that.
I know.
But
yeah. So "Would you rather?" I'll probably have to pause and stop you, or you'll kind of ask questions because I've got things in here that I'm not even completely familiar with. So
that's fine.
Well, so would you rather? We'll start off with this one. Would you rather join SG-1 for one risky mission or Atlantis for a full season?
So I've thought long and hard about this one, and I think I would go with SG-1 for one risky mission as opposed to Atlantis for a full season. I say that because while I might die in this one risky mission, I will most definitely end up being killed off in Atlantis for a whole season because the enemies in Atlantis, the Wraith, they are way scarier than the Goa'uld. And Atlantis, it's like it was a one-way trip basically to Atlantis because there wasn't enough power to get back and forth between the two galaxies. So if you ran out of coffee, you're just out of coffee kind of thing. So
they're stuck there the entire season. They are not going off of that world. It's just that's where they're stuck the entire time.
So they can leave that world, but they can't necessarily go back to the Milky Way galaxy. They're in the
okay.
Pegasus galaxy,
Okay.
which requires more power to connect the two stargates.
Huh.
So until they work on building a bridge of stargates to kind of like make a
longer tunnel, like, yeah.
So that way they can connect it easier. But yeah, it doesn't happen that often.
Gotcha.
So that series, Atlantis, we've brought it up a little bit so far, but how do you feel about that one in general? Like, was it, because obviously the team was different in that one, like you told us. Was it as good? I mean, did you enjoy the characters in that show as much? Or
I thought it was just great.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was fantastic.
Okay.
It was just as good. I mean, it when it was airing, it took place during like the last few seasons of SG-1. So there were some episodes where, as it was airing, it was like, oh, tonight you watch this episode of Atlantis.
Oh.
And it coincides with this episode of
Interesting.
SG-1. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather, so you this kind of walks into that from that last question. I'm probably going to mispronounce this. Would you rather face a gold system lord or a wraith commander?
You're pretty close. Goa Old.
Oh man, I knew I was going to do it.
It's okay.
We
practiced.
We practiced this, but it's
Goa
okay.
Old.
There you go.
Okay.
Don't worry. They talk about this in the show a lot, and they reference like people mispronouncing it all the time. So you're good. So would I rather face a Gold System Lord or Wraith Commander? Like I said, the Wraith are terrifying. I would rather face a Gold System Lord.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather be stranded on Destiny or stuck on a random off-world planet waiting for rescue?
Oh, off-world planet for sure. Yeah, they even do an episode where Jack gets stuck off-world for months, and he's not able to be rescued. So, in that episode, there's a meteor shower that comes crashing down, and one of the meteors makes impact, and it lands right on top of the Stargate. So he believes that he's stuck. Like, he believes that it destroyed the Stargate because he couldn't get off world fast enough. But months later, they kept trying, and eventually they were able to find out that it just got buried. So they dug it up, and he was able to go home. But
now I should ask. So Destiny, is that like a starship? Is that a what?
Destiny is a ship.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a ship created by a race called the Ancients, which are basically the first round of evolution of humans.
Okay.
So that's another cool thing that you find out in the show. This whole time, so this race of ancients are the ones who built the Stargate.
Mm-hmm.
They are known as the Gate Builders. They lived on Earth millions of years before we do now. It's talked about in the show that over time, like they eventually evolved and ascended to a higher plane of existence, which can kind of coincide with like Christianity. Like, oh yeah, we've gone to heaven basically. So we're all angels up there in our own plane of existence. And then human evolution began again after they left. And yeah, so
Interesting.
This does bring me. I said I had that question off air, and I wanted to bring it up. So Egyptology, is that what
Egyptology? Yeah.
So that's where it kind of gets its start. Does it ever dive into other? You said that it does get into other mythologies. Does it? I mean, like what sorts of other mythologies does the show or shows dive into?
So one of the main ones that it dives into is the Asgard, which I think is really interesting.
Right?
Yeah, the Norse gods.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Asgard are actually the gray aliens from like Roswell. So if you think of like what aliens look like, they're like these weird gray things with the big beady eyes. The Asgard are actually
I've seen Thor. That is not what the Asgardians look like, obviously.
So you're right. Yes, that is not what they look like. But they talk about that in the show because in the show they go to a planet that has Thor's hammer like right outside of the Stargate, and it's there to protect that planet from the Goa'uld. So if a Goa'uld comes to that planet from the Stargate, they get zapped into like this cave where they can't escape. The only escape is death, basically. So they interact with this. So when they come through the Stargate with Teal'c, he has as a Jaffa, he has a gold symbiote in his stomach.
Oh no!
So that the Jaffa, they are basically incubators for the Goa'uld until they mature enough to take a host.
Oh,
so
jeez,
yeah, it's crazy. We can go into that if you want, but so this Thor's hammer takes Teal'c and takes him into this cave and to get rid of him, basically. So they have to go to try to save Teal'c during that.
Huh.
They interact with this hologram that looks like the Norse god Thor, and they solve this puzzle to prove that they are advanced enough, and then it reveals their true form as these gray aliens.
Interesting.
Yeah. What about like Greek mythology? Does it dive into that at all, or not so much?
A little bit. It's not quite as in depth, but they do make some references to like other gods, and like Baal is one of them.
Okay.
Who I know that's not Greek, but I'm just trying to think of some of the other major system lords that make an appearance. They also get into different Asian cultures and different Asian theologies. Like there's also Lord Yu, which if you think of the Rush Hour movie, it's like, oh, you
Yes.
no me,
Gosh.
yeah.
So that's one of my favorite scenes.
anytime he's on screen, he's one of the oldest system lords. So anytime he's on screen, like all I can think about is that scene from Rush Hour. Like, oh, okay,
classic. Cool. All right, how about I'll give you a few more would you rathers.
Okay.
Would you rather? So I'm gonna find another one that's like I got to get some backstory to a little bit. Would you rather fight with a Zat? Is it Zat?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a P90? What is that a type of gun, right?
Yeah, that's a type of
for
gun.
the rest of your off-world career. So what's a Zat?
A Zat is short for Zat Nicotel, which is basically a handgun that the Goa'uld and Jaffa use.
Okay.
So it's funny. When they first introduced this gun at the end of season 1, they're like, well, how does this work? And Teal'c, he explains it to him. He's like, 1 shot will stun your enemy, 2 shots will kill them, and 3 shots will make them disappear. Basically disintegrates them.
Wow.
So that's kind of too OP of a weapon. They actually make callbacks to it later on. They're like, so there's the episode 200. They just do like a break the fourth wall kind of thing. It's just a funny taking jabs at it, at the whole series. And they make a reference to, oh yeah, man, 3 shots, it disintegrates them. Like, what? Who would come up with that kind of thing? So it was really funny.
Nice.
But yeah, and the P90 is what the SG teams use. That's their standard loadout. I would probably still go with the Zat, even though it doesn't disintegrate people anymore.
Sure.
Suddenly it just stopped doing that.
that feature doesn't work anymore.
Exactly. But like, at least you won't run out of ammo in that with that. So because of the way it works, it's some energy weapons. So yeah,
Sure.
Naturally.
science. Yeah.
Would you rather deal with Rodney McKay on a bad day or Colonel Young on a bad day?
So I would definitely deal with Rodney McKay on a bad day. He annoys me to no end. But he's a scientist at heart. So I feel like I could deal with him. Colonel Young would beat the crap out of me.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to avoid that altogether.
Rodney McKay has some logic baked in there somewhere. Whereas, okay.
So in the series, he is deathly allergic to citrus. So they actually, it's very funny. There's an episode of Atlantis because he's the science officer in Atlantis, where the leader of that SG team, Colonel Shepard, they like go to this planet where they have like this interactive table and it controls the real world outside. And they think it's just a game. And he's like, I'm going to have my people send Rodney's group like a bunch of lemons as a
Gosh.
gift. And so in the real world, they do actually send a bunch of lemons over to this colony, and it's just a funny joke. So
That's great. All right, last one. Would you
All right.
rather negotiate with a Takra or a Nox? Or the Nox, I should say.
I would rather negotiate with the Nox as opposed to the Tok'ra.
Oh, see, I did it again. I knew.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So talk to me about both of those here.
All right. So the Nox are an advanced race of beings who are far more advanced than anything we could ever imagine. But they are logical. They are easy to negotiate with, even though they think we are very young and don't understand how things work.
Yeah.
They don't believe in harming anybody. They believe in harmony and peace and everything. It's great. While I probably won't get anywhere with the Nox, I would still rather negotiate with them. While the Tok'ra are still kind of on our side, and they're essentially Goa'uld, but they are opposed to the whole gold system lord process. Like they don't believe in taking humans as hosts forcefully. It's a true symbiotic relationship with the human host. But they're still kind of jerks. They still think they're better than everybody else.
Well, you were saying earlier they believe in consent, right? And that's
Yes, it's a consensual relationship, whereas the Goa'uld are like, no, I'm going to take you as a host. But yeah,
man. All right, well, let's dive into just some deeper questions here rather than just the 50-50 questions on the would you rather. Ben, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I have one that I don't have written down, but it's just been bouncing around my head. What makes Stargate, you think, stand apart from Star Trek, Star Wars, Babylon 5, all these other space sci-fi epics?
So for me, I feel like it's more grounded. Like while these other, like Star Trek and Babylon 5 and all these other epics, like you were saying, they're more heavily sci-fi, whereas it feels more grounded, like more, this could actually happen.
Okay.
Feels real to me.
A lot of speculative. I get what you're saying, though, because like Star Trek is much more speculative, and same thing with Star Wars. Like it's kind of out there. I get what you're.
It's like if we're trying to think practically, like how this would happen with today's technology or the technology of 1999, kind of thing. So, yeah.
If you could dial the gate to any planet without knowing what's on the other side, would you do it? And what gear are you bringing with you to try and survive that?
Ooh, I don't know if I would necessarily do that because there are some planets out there that are pretty dangerous. Like there are some that over time the atmosphere is deteriorated, so you can't really breathe or anything. So I don't really know what I'd be getting into.
I was wondering if that came up in the show because it was like so like at the beginning of the movie, it was like, oh hey, this atmosphere is breathable. It's like, well,
exactly.
Wait, is that the way
immediately like, oh okay, we can solve all that. Yeah.
You'll find out if you do watch the show that a lot of planets look a lot like Vancouver, Canada. So
is that where it was filmed?
That's where most of it was filmed.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Even though it takes place in Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado, it was filmed in Vancouver, Canada.
All right.
Oh man, that's
well,
funny.
Along those lines, like where was one of your favorite places that we've ever visited throughout any of the Stargate universe?
So there was a planet. There was the god of that area was Pelops. Another, I forget what pantheon he's from, but he basically set up this world to see how humans age and evolve over time. And by doing that, he created these nanobots that got into the people, and they only lived for 100 days. They lived from like each day was a different year, essentially. So they lived for 100 years, but within 100 days.
Okay.
After they got rid of that and turned it off, people were able to live a lot longer. But like the whole area, it looked like ancient Greece, and it just
I think Peloponnesian, like the Peloponnesian Wars were Greek islands.
Right. Yeah. So it was just like this this beautiful scenery. Like,
Nice.
imagine like going to this world and spending the rest of your life on this beautiful beach.
Yeah.
In ancient Greece,
And live for 100 years. Like,
and live for 100 years.
sounds
Yes.
great.
Always have everything you need.
So, yeah. So I don't know that we've gotten into this a lot, but I know that the show kind of has this basis of having like just monster of the week episodes that they're kind of going up against. So is there a creature or an anomaly that freaked you out the most in one of those episodes?
So yes, there are two I'll talk about. One of them is, so they find a second Stargate on Earth in Antarctica. Which is kind of cool. Russia finds out about it. They end up taking it, and they are operating it.
Always Russia.
It's always Russia, you know? So they're operating it without the knowledge of the United States, and they go to this, they open up the gate to this one planet that is just like what seems to be all water. But in reality, that water is a living creature.
Oh.
And when they go and explore, part of that comes back with them, and it's like stored in their body, and it's controlling them, and it's like, oh, geez, that's weird.
So, and with water on Earth, the way that we just constantly are recycling it, like,
Yeah,
that creature is going to spread. Awful. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they eventually get the piece of that water that they took back to that planet, and they never go back there.
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. So that's a bad one.
What did the water? I mean, like, did it just take over people? And like, what was the?
It was kind of like sentient. Like, it was one giant body, but also kind of like a hive mind thing. It took over some of the explorers when they went through, and then when they tried to go back to see what happened, like why all the people in the base were dying, they found out that the water was sentient because it started crushing their ship. So they were eventually able to leave, go get the most recent infected person, bring them back, and release the water back, and they were able to escape. So
That sounds creepy.
Yeah.
Release the water back. Did he pee it out?
No, it just came out of his mouth.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no recycling. But I guess I said there were two. The other one isn't necessarily a monster of the week, but every time he shows up on screen, I hate him. It is Senator Kinsey. He's a recurring character that starts showing up like later on. He's a United States senator who just doesn't believe that the Stargate is worth keeping up, and if we're not bringing back weapons, then we should just shut it down. And it's like he is an awful person.
Gotcha.
Well, very very much the mindset, probably representative of America.
Yeah,
It's all about the weapons.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Throughout all of the different Stargate teams, if you had to form your own team, who would you recruit?
I would probably recruit Colonel Shepard to lead it, Teal'c as like the token alien muscle tank guy.
Who's your science officer? Yeah.
It's got to be Sam Carter, because at this point, either Sam Carter or another side character, Zelensky. He's kind of cool, but he's like at the base science officer kind of thing. But yeah, I'd probably go with Sam Carter. And for the intelligence guy, like the one who can speak all the languages and has a moral compass, I don't know. I know I mentioned him earlier, but I'd have to go with Jonas Quinn.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah. It's a toss up. Like, Daniel Jackson's great, but like I still like Jonas Quinn. So
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Well, my question is in the same vein, but more related from like the Hollywood side of things. So we know there's another show coming out. If you were in charge of casting that show, who would be your ideal cast, or who would you love to see?
Oh man,
in a Stargate series.
That is a great question.
I know I didn't write that one down, so I'm putting you on the spot. That was
it's a little on the spot, but I don't know. I haven't really thought about that yet. I just found out about this coming back like Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is Monday for those of you who are watching it later. I don't know. There's been a lot of buzz online and within the fandom, and people are wanting returning characters like Christopher Judge to come back for Teal'c, which I think would be great because Jaffa lived for a very long time. So he could come back and make an appearance, but I think it would just need to be a fresh cast. Like,
Okay.
Well, who are like some of your favorite, I guess, just stars in general that would be like, okay, this is never going to happen, but like who would be entertaining, I guess, to see in Stargate?
So one person that I think would be entertaining to see would be Jensen Ackles. I don't know if you know who that is, but from Supernatural, he played Dean.
Oh, okay.
He's also in The Boys. He plays Soldier Boy?
Soldier of Fortune? Or is
I
it
didn't know
Soldier
he's-
something.
Okay.
But yeah, so because he's so involved with The Boys, and that's also an Amazon show.
Yeah.
And they're also doing a spinoff with him.
Oh, they are? Okay.
I'm pretty sure they are. It's unlikely, but I think he would be a great like Stargate
Commander.
Commander,
Or like,
yeah.
I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
Any chance of James Spader coming back to reprise? That'd be
So it'd be funny. I don't think he would reprise Daniel Jackson because Michael Shanks eventually took over as Daniel Jackson.
Yeah.
James Spader was Daniel Jackson in the movie. Michael Shanks made Daniel Jackson his
As I
character.
say, in terms of
essentially.
screen time.
Yeah. But he could come back as like the general, like the leader of Stargate Command.
he'd probably be good at that.
Yeah,
I
could see
think
that.
he would be good at that. Yeah.
A smaller commitment too, just every once in a while, just
Yeah.
appear. Yeah. Well, kind of to close out our discussion in general and
Sure.
and our time together, what have you heard about? Like, I know you just said that you just heard about the new series, but like, have you heard anything about? You said a continuation, like so. Like, is it still the main U.S. Stargate? Do you think they've found another one? Anything like that?
So I'm pretty sure, and if I remember correctly, it's going to be a continuation of everything. It's not going to be a reboot. It's not going to be it's kind of going to be a spinoff, I guess. But it's going to be a continuation of the world that we've already built, and it's likely going to take place. It's on a different planet.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, what mythology do you want them to dive into?
Oh, they covered almost all of them.
Okay.
But I do think it would be kind of cool if they covered, like, went deeper into like the Greek and Roman mythologies.
Great.
So I think that would be really cool.
Awesome. Well, James, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm
We
gonna pull
appreciate you
Michael
being
in
here.
here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I mean,
Yeah.
it
No,
was
this has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed learning more about the show, and I'll tell you what, it's always I enjoyed the last episode for the same reason, just kind of getting to experience something that I hadn't before, and so I'm looking forward to looking
I'll
more
say I'm
into
far
it.
more interested than I thought I'd be. Which
Oh, good.
If I
Great.
have the time to watch
good
another
sell.
thing, then
Sweet.
you've done great.
Yeah.
So thanks so much, James. Nick, why don't you tell us what's coming up on our next episode?
Sure. So we are, we're coming up into December, so the holidays are right around the corner, and we're gonna do a very special Christmas episode, in which it's gonna work a little bit different. So we're gonna be talking about a top 5 movies that we're going to give the goated title to. So top 5 Christmas movies, according to Fandom of Fandoms. So we're each going to bring, actually my wife's going to come on the show. It's going to be awesome. So she's going to be our guest. Myself and Michael and Ben, we're all bringing our own favorite Christmas movies to talk about. And then I'm also planning on putting out a poll and kind of getting a feel for the people that listen to the show and some people that maybe don't, what their favorite Christmas movie is that we can kind of bring in and talk about. So I'm really looking forward to it. We got to still kind of put the finishing touches on what that's going to look like, but I think it's going to be a fun episode for sure.
Yeah, me too. Really looking forward to talking about it. All right. Well, thank you guys so much, and we'll see our listeners next time.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, we hope you enjoyed hearing about today's fandom. Thanks for joining us. Give us a follow on Instagram or Threads at fof.pod to stay up to date with all the latest, and check out the video version on YouTube at Fandom of Fandoms. Have a fandom that you want us to dive into? Send us an email at fandomofpodcast@gmail.com. Till our next adventure, keep being passionate, keep being curious, and keep being a fan.